Hello, grade 2B. My name is Disa from 6th grade, and today I'm going to tell you the story called The Feather of the Firebird from Russia. Before I start my story, I want to tell you a few words that are difficult. The first one is Tsar, and it means like the leader or the master. The next word is Tsar, which is the name of the firebird, and the third word is the cauldron, which is like a big metal tub. Okay, let's begin. Long ago in Russia, there lived a brave huntsman who had a horse who could talk. Every day, the huntsman and the horse would ride off into the forest to find treasures for their master, the Tsar. One day, when they were out in the forest, the huntsman saw something glowing in the forest. It looked like fire. When he drew close, he saw it wasn't fire. It was a feather, the feather of the Tsar, the firebird, and the huntsman knew those stories. A man lucky enough to find the feather of the Tsar will have luck and fortune in all his days. But when he bent down to pick it up, his horse spoke. "Don't pick up the feather of the Tsar, or you will know trouble." But the huntsman thought, "I don't pick up the feather for myself. I pick it up for my master, the Tsar." So he picked up the feather and rode home to the Tsar, who was very pleased. "No other Tsar in all the lands of the world possesses such a treasure as the feather of the Tsar. But what good is a feather when I could have the Tsar herself? Go, my huntsman, go find me the Tsar herself, and if you fail, I shall have your head." The huntsman was most distressed. He ran to his horse and told him what happened, and his horse said, "What did I tell you? Don't pick up the feather of the Tsar, or you will know trouble. But fear not, grieve not. This is not the real trouble. The real trouble lies ahead. Go to your master and ask him for 100 measures of grain, a golden cord, and a golden net, and we shall go to the field." The huntsman did what the horse had asked, and soon they were off to the field. When they came there, the huntsman threw out the 100 measures of grain onto the field, and they waited. And soon the ground started to shake, and out of the sky came the Tsar herself and landed on the field. She started to eat the grain, and the horse jumped out, stepped on a wing, and the huntsman threw the golden net over her and bound her up with the golden cord. They put her on the back of the horse and rode home to the Tsar, who was very pleased. No other Tsar in all the lands of the world possesses such a treasure as the Tsar herself. But what good is the Tsar without a wife to share my glory? Go, my huntsman, go find me the most beautiful woman in the world, Princess Vanazla of the Tri-Ninth Kingdom at the edge of the blue sea. And if you fail, I shall have your head. The huntsman was most distressed. He ran to his horse and told him what happened, and his horse said, "What did I tell you? Don't pick up the feather of the Tsar, or you will know trouble. Fear not, grieve not. This is not the real trouble. The real trouble lies ahead. Go to your master and ask him for a tent, fine food, and wine, and we shall go to the Tri-Ninth Kingdom at the edge of the blue sea." The huntsman did what his horse had asked, and they rode off to the Tri-Ninth Kingdom at the edge of the blue sea. When they arrived, they could see Princess Vanazla out on the boat. So they set up the tent and started to make all this fine food and wine. And soon Princess Vanazla could smell all the food from her boat, so she went to see what it was. And when she came there, the huntsman invited her in, and they dined for hours. And soon she fell asleep. And when she was asleep, he bound her up, put her on the back of the horse, and rode her into the Tsar, who was very pleased. No other Tsar in all the lands of the world possesses such a treasure as Princess Vanazla herself to be his wife. We shall be married tomorrow. But Princess Vanazla did not want to marry the Tsar, because he was very, very ugly and greedy. So she said, "I cannot marry the Tsar. I can't marry anyone without my wedding dress, and no one can find my wedding dress, for it lies at the bottom of the blue sea, under a stone which no man can lift." The Tsar did not like this, so he said, "Huntsman, go find me Princess Vanazla's wedding dress at the bottom of the blue sea, under a stone which no man can lift, and if you fail, I shall have your head." The huntsman was most distressed. He ran to his horse and told him what happened, and his horse said, "What did I tell you? Don't pick up the feather of the Tsar, or you will have trouble. Fear not, grieve not. This is not the real trouble. The real trouble lies ahead. We shall go to Tri-Ninth Kingdom at the edge of the blue sea and get the dress." So they rode off to the blue sea, and when they came there, the horse went up to a crab and put his hoof on it and said, "Crab, go your brother crabs and sister crabs and mother crabs and father crabs, and go to the bottom of the blue sea and lift the stone which no man can lift, and get the dress." The crabs did what the horse had asked, and they went to the bottom of the blue sea, got Princess Finazzla's dress, and gave it to the horse. He put on the back of him and rode home to Tsar, who was very pleased. No other Tsar in all the lands of the world possesses such a treasure as Princess Finazzla and her wedding dress. We shall be married tomorrow. But Princess Finazzla did not want to marry the Tsar, because he was very, very ugly and greedy. So she said, I can't marry the Tsar. I won't marry anyone as long as the huntsman lives. The huntsman was most distressed. He ran to his horse and told him what happened, and his horse said, I have a plan. I know what to do. Go and find a single silken thread and a piece of her hair and a tiny, tiny little fluffy feather from the top of the Tsar's chest. Hide these things in your beard, and you shall go tomorrow and see what happens. He came there, and the Tsar had everything planned. He had a big, great cauldron of boiling oil for him to step into. And he came out, and there was a huge crowd around him, all ready to see the wedding. So he went out to the cauldron and put one foot in. It didn't burn him. He went all the way in and under the water, but it didn't burn him. And when he rose up, he was the most handsome man in all lands, and he just looked so amazing. So the Tsar thought, if only a huntsman can step into that cauldron and look that good, imagine how handsome a Tsar could look. So he went to the cauldron, jumped in, and didn't come up. You could see him laying on the top of the edge, but he didn't come up. And the whole crowd gasped. And then a cheer started. Our new Tsar! Our new Tsar! Our new Tsar! And the huntsman looked around and met the princess's eyes and realized this was his destiny. He was going to marry Princess Finazzla and rule the lands. And he was not going to rule it in that way that the old Tsar did. He was going to make it the best land ever and rule it fairly. And he lived happily ever after. And then you might wonder, what happened to the horse? Well, he served as the huntsman's trusted advisor for a few years before riding off into new adventures, which I just might tell you about next time. The end.